The police investigation unraveled her story piece by piece. As investigators dug deeper into the case, they found a mountain of concerning information that ruled against her own theories.
Barbie, I like what I see. Can you slowly lower the camera?
But to understand how Abigail White became fake Barbie, we need to go back to the beginning. Because the woman smiling at that camera didn't start as a content creator, she started as a victim. You see, when Abigail was just 2 years old, her childhood shattered. Her father began violently beating her mother in front of her. Imagine being that small, that helpless, watching the two people who are supposed to protect you destroying each other. By age 4, her parents split up. Most children might hope this would bring peace, but for Abigail it only brought a different kind of hell. Her mother's new boyfriend, her stepfather, turned his violence directly on her. The little girl who had watched her mother get beaten was now the new target. Eventually the system intervened. Abigail was placed in foster care before finding safety with her grandparents. But the damage was already done. Her education became a battlefield of behavioural problems and school exclusions. By 13, she was on antidepressants, trying to chemically manage trauma that ran deeper than any pill could reach. Abigail White never learned how to have a normal life because she never had one to begin with. She never took responsibility for her actions, never developed healthy coping mechanisms, never learned that violence wasn't the answer to every problem. The world had stopped. Everyone was locked behind closed doors, and suddenly everyone was looking for ways to make money from home. Abigail discovered OnlyFans. For the first time in her life, she could create a world where she was in charge. OnlyFans wasn't just a platform, it was a lifeline. Oh, I forgot to mention that she has 3 young children to feed, bills piling up, and a relationship that was already showing cracks. So she made a choice. She would become fake Barbie, a digital persona that would save her real life. The transformation into fake Barbie was dramatic. Plastic surgery reshaped her face into an almost cartoonish perfection. Blonde hair, enhanced features, almost looking like a living doll. She wasn't just creating content, she was creating a completely new identity, one where her traumatic past didn't exist. Abigail earned over 50,000 quid, roughly $65,000, in her first year. For someone who had struggled financially her entire life, someone who had never held a regular job, this felt like winning the lottery. The girl who was once struggling to survive is now thriving and successful. But here's what Abigail didn't understand about the creator economy. It's not just about creating content. It's about sustaining an audience in an increasingly crowded market. Her income started to drop over time. That $65,000 first year crashed to a mere $15,000. A devastating 75% drop that left her unable to financially support herself or her children. The pressure was unbearable, and for someone whose only coping mechanisms involved violence and substances, she was known to consume alcohol and dabble with what some people call white powder. This kind of stress became a loaded weapon. Behind the pink aesthetic and carefully crafted videos, Abigail's real life was unravelling. Oh, and did I mention that she was in a relationship with this guy, Bradley Lewis? The kind of relationship that allows her to do OnlyFans. Bradley was the father of her 3 children. Well, Bradley was in a toxic relationship. They had been together for 7 years since they were teenagers, but success hadn't brought them closer together. It had driven them apart. They would break up, come together, and on and on and on. Bradley initially supported her work. He even helped her create content, understanding that this was their ticket to escape the Matrix. But as the money flowed in, so did the problems. Jealousy, control, and infidelity became the backdrop of their daily lives. The fights weren't just arguments. They were violent explosions. Abigail had already stabbed Bradley twice before, once in the arm, once in the leg. Each time they reconciled. Each time they told themselves it would be different. But her subscribers were leaving. Her money was running out fast. Abigail's income was plummeting. The creator economy had moved on, and fake Barbie was becoming yesterday's news. Irrelevant, forgotten, discarded. The pressure was crushing her, and when violence is already in your blood, desperation becomes deadly. In voice messages that would later echo through a courtroom like confessions from hell, Abigail revealed the monster lurking beneath the pink facade.
Obviously, I have no limit when I get angry, and obviously he said that I need help with that because people are generally saying to me, one of you are going to end up dead, and I fully believe that I'm quite capable of killing him if he hurts me again, or I'm going to end up being in prison.
Abigail predicting her own future, saying she would end up unaliving Bradley. The warning signs weren't just flashing red, they were screaming. Perhaps Bradley thought, I can change her. What began as an ordinary Friday would end as a family's worst nightmare. It started with words Bradley had been rehearsing for weeks. The conversation he'd played out in his head 1,000 times was finally about to spill out. No more games, no more cycles. He stood in their doorway like a man walking to his execution.
Hey Abigail, I think we need to talk.
She was like,
Yeah, what's up?
and Bradley was like,
Listen, I don't want to be with you anymore.
But here's the strange part. Abigail didn't explode. For someone known for her violent outbursts, she simply said,
All right.
This wasn't the reaction anyone expected from a woman who had previously stabbed her partner twice. Was she finally maturing? Had she accepted that their relationship had run its course? The answer came that same evening. They had made plans to go out with friends, perhaps a final attempt at normalcy. They met at a local pub, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else's business. Abigail arrived first and began drinking. Not just a glass of wine with dinner, she consumed an entire bottle plus additional drinks. She also disappeared to the bathroom to do something some people call white powder stuff. The pub erupted in chaos. Abigail, now heavily intoxicated and high, unleashed 2 years of frustration, jealousy and fear onto Bradley. When friends tried to intervene, she spat at them. When strangers tried to help, she attacked them too. The entire bar watched as fake Barbie unleashed the beast within. As they left the pub, Bradley told his friend who was driving them home,
Bro, I'm so dead when I get home. So dead.
Wait, didn't he just tell his baby mama he was done? Think about that for a moment. A 22-year-old father of 3 sitting in the back of a car predicting his own death. He knew Abigail well enough to understand that the night wasn't over. It was just beginning. They put their 3 young children to bed, ages 3, 2, and an infant. The kids had no idea they were about to witness something that would haunt them forever. The argument resumed immediately. Abigail was furious that Bradley hadn't defended her at the pub, conveniently forgetting that she had started the entire altercation. The fighting escalated from words to pushing, and then Abigail made a choice that would change both their lives forever. She walked to the kitchen. On the counter lay a 7-inch kitchen knife. Bradley tried to run, but unfortunately Abigail got hold of him and stabbed him on his chest. At about 8 p.m, a distressed scream erupted from their home.
Somebody help, please! He's not breathing!
The scream was coming from Abigail herself, and the first person to respond was a neighbour.
999, what's your emergency?
I think someone's been hurt next door. There's been shouting and now... Oh God, they're screaming!
Okay, calm down. What's your location?
Chippenham Close, number 47. It's my neighbour's house.
What exactly did you hear?
There was this massive row going on, banging, and then this awful scream. A man's voice. And now it's gone quiet. Too quiet.
Are you in a safe location? Can you see the property?
I'm I'm in my garden. The lights are still on, but wait. Someone's coming out. It's Abigail. She looks covered in something dark.
I'm dispatching emergency services now. Do not approach the property. Is the person you can see in distress?
She's just standing there, not moving, like she's in shock or something. Oh my God, what if Bradley's hurt? What if he's...
Police and ambulance are on their way. Stay where you are and keep me on the line.
When paramedics arrived, they found Bradley collapsed and commenced medical treatment immediately. Bloodstains were found throughout the ground floor of the property, evidence of the violent struggle that had just taken place. But it was too late. Bradley Lewis unfortunately didn't make it. And standing somewhere in that blood-stained house were 3 young children who had just witnessed their mother unaliving their father. Panic set in immediately. Abigail realised what she had done, but instead of accepting responsibility, she began crafting her next performance. This time, the audience wasn't her OnlyFans subscribers, it was the police. Not what you're thinking. Initially, Abigail tried to play the victim. She pleaded guilty only to manslaughter charges, refusing to take full accountability and refusing to plead guilty to murder. Her story kept changing. Bradley had stabbed himself. It was an accident. I was trying to help him. The police investigation unravelled her story piece by piece. As investigators dug deeper into the case, they found a mountain of concerning information that ruled against her own theories. After combing through Bradley's phone data, analysts found hundreds of threatening messages she had sent him in the months leading up to his death. On February 7th, exactly 1 month before his death, Abigail sent Bradley a message that read, The evidence painted a clear picture. This wasn't a moment of passion or self-defense. This was premeditated murder by someone who had been threatening to unalive someone for months. This time, she maintained her story that she never intended to stab Bradley, and only wanted to scare him when she picked up the kitchen knife. But the evidence was overwhelming. The voice messages where she predicted she would unalive him, the hundreds of threatening texts, the previous stabbings, the witnesses from the pub, everything pointed to a woman who had been building toward this moment for months. The jury saw through the performance. Abigail White was found guilty of murder. Not manslaughter, but murder. Under UK law, she was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 18 years before she could be eligible for parole. The story could end there, with justice served and fake Barbie behind bars. But Abigail White had one more performance left in her. Even behind bars, Abigail White remained brazenly entitled. While serving her 18-year sentence for murder, she had the audacity to pen a letter to the prison newspaper, demanding special privileges that would make most people's jaws drop. Her message began, "It has come to my attention, after recently being sentenced to 18 years, that prisons do not facilitate overnight stays for women prisoners and their partners. They should take into account and consideration our needs and allow men and women to have overnight stays together. I would like to know what other prisoners think about this, as quite a few girls here agree." Like, seriously? Even behind bars, even after taking a life, she remained focused on her own desires, her own needs. The empathy that might have prevented Bradley's unfortunate situation was still nowhere to be found.